So Skool just took $300 off a transaction inside my free community for little more than a name search, which makes us realize that our concerns around attribution have been found to be true when it comes to using Growth Boost. So if you're a YouTuber or you're selling high ticket, this is going to be massively important information for you. But to be honest, if you're planning to use Growth Boost at all inside your community, then this is what you really need to be aware of. So inside this video, I'm going to break down my story, what happened, what other members inside our community are talking about and complaining about as well, and also strategies moving forward. What can we do if we're going to keep Growth Boost on? What's the new reality? Is the new direction of Skool in general? And maybe what we should do in terms of setup strategies and everything else. I'm going to break it down inside this video. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you is that this was the $300 transaction that just came out of a transaction of mine. And this was from a coaching bundle, a one-time sale inside the classroom to a member inside there who wanted to do some one-on-one work with me. And he basically said that he did a search on YouTube and he came directly to my Skool community via the link in the description. I have since spoken to Skool and they said it was attributed to Skool and that he actually did a name search. So therefore, inside his profile, I can see that it says joined from the Skool network. And that's basically what he was tagged with inside. So any member inside your Skool community that basically has this next to their name, that essentially means that if they buy something from you, there's a good chance that it's been attributed to Skool. And that means that you're going to lose 30% on any transaction. Now, the issue that I have with this is that they didn't really bring in the traffic, and I wasn't really overly convinced by Skool's reply. They basically said that it's last touch attribution, which again, we've all had concerns about this. Even when they first started doing it in terms of attributing the traffic data, I found that this wasn't aligned because a lot of people were telling me that they were coming from YouTube. They were coming directly from my videos, and people may be using YouTube in different ways. Maybe they're watching on TV and using their phone. So they're going indirectly to Skool. So therefore, when it came to the search part of Skool, the attribution was a little bit funky. It was a little bit foggy. It didn't really match. And that means that basically Skool would essentially be able to get the last touch in a variety of different ways and intercept traffic. Now, last touch attribution is also a problem when it comes to affiliate marketing. It is the simplest to understand, but it also means that you get people trying to hijack traffic as affiliates as well to then jump in front of that. So what they basically said to me was, in this situation, the best thing to do would be to refund it. Now, that's actually quite complicated, I've realized as well. One, you don't want to cause disruptions for your clients. It's not their problem. It's not their fault. And if you actually try to refund when there's an affiliate transaction inside of Skool, you have to have more than the actual amount that you've potentially will be paid for by Skool. And that means with high ticket that you have to probably have at least a couple of sales going through per week to be able to cover that extra amount. Otherwise, there's no way for you to actually refund it. So that's an entirely separate video on its own anyways. The refund system there is a little bit of an issue and actually makes me realize why maybe they don't potentially even want high ticket sales, because with Skool Boost, this could potentially be a slight issue, as you're not really going to be able to offer refunds unless you've got steady flow of regular new members, even at high ticket, coming through. But again, that's an entirely different video. So they said to refund it, which I was quite surprised at. And they basically said that we should potentially be taking high ticket sales off of Skool. So what we should do is just be charging low ticket, and for high ticket sales, now move off of Skool, which kind of blew my mind because they've been trying to get us to use Skool as the hub for all business models, our complete business. They even raised the threshold to $5,000 per transaction. And essentially, it was supposed to be the all-in-one platform for your low ticket, your high ticket, and everything. But now, because of Skool Boost and issues like I've just had with this transaction, the whole suggestion is not to do high ticket at all, or to turn Growth Boost off. But that essentially means you get zero traffic. And if someone searches for your name, and I've tested this with other people who have turned it off, they don't show up anymore. So you don't even have search functionality for your group within the Skool platform anymore if you turn it off, which is a bit weird. And then they also said that this works both ways. As in, if they're sending traffic to you, then you might be able to hijack that, or somebody else might be able to hijack that on the way in. And that's completely fair. But in this scenario, this is a free community. They haven't started boosting me yet. This is the same amount of 10 to, sort of 15 sign-ups a month maybe they've been sending me that just come through generally search inside, or people maybe finding me from engaging with me in other groups, people naturally coming to me. So we can't really say that they've done anything to actually push that towards me other than hosting the Skool platform, which I'm already paying them for the service of. So if they were sending me boost traffic and they were sending me ads, and this was from many different things that they were doing to bring more people, and I was seeing that uptick and I was getting additional sales from them that they were definitely bringing in as well, you'd be like, well, it's kind of balancing out, it's fine, and we'd probably be all okay with it. But when they haven't started doing anything yet and they're already taking money from you for something that was free before, that feels a little bit iffy. So basically the traffic coming inside for my community at the moment has always been around the sort of 20% from Skool, which is great. It's really nice passive stuff. But when my channel is pushing hard, that is far and beyond the traffic source, sometimes up to sort of 80, 90%. So really, Skool is not really doing that much for me right now. And honestly, this Skool Boost and discovery itself, this is what makes Skool so great. This is the whole thing about Skool. It's what makes Skool so absolutely unique. And it's what I've been saying to people about what makes Skool unique and why you should use Skool. And it's the ecosystem. It's replacing Facebook. That's the whole concept of it. So this kind of muddies that water a little bit. Now you could turn it off, or as we'll get to later on, I'll speak to different strategies and ways that you can potentially do this. But we want to be leveraging that ecosystem. So it would be a real massive shame to turn this off. I would say if you turn this off, you're essentially saying that it's just a hosting platform for you and your courses and your community, which is fine. Many people might be 100% happy with that. Pay your $9 or your $99, go about your day, bring your own sales in, forget about the Skool ecosystem. Fine, is what it is. But I think there's a deeper problem here that we potentially need to look at, even if you are planning on using the Skool Boost system. And again, especially if you're a YouTuber or creator or someone bringing external traffic in, but also as a high ticket, if you're doing any type of high ticket as well. So my issue here was with this particular client, I double checked with him. It's not been a long time since he signed up, and he said that he came direct through my link. Now, there's a chance that maybe there was a search done or something happened along the way, and maybe he doesn't remember that. We don't know. But the issue for me is that this is feather light attribution then, in that case. It doesn't take much for the traffic coming from my channel to be taken over by Skool itself and the platform. And that attribution from Skool means that it's really attributing Skool on traffic far too easily. So in this case, let's say, it's a whole different problem if he actually didn't do a search, because that means that something inside that was feather light touch actually attributed him to the Skool platform. So that's a potentially deeper issue there. But let's assume that he did even do that, did do a search inside. It still means that Skool saw it coming from somewhere else, and then just because he searched a name, then potentially it's switched to Skool itself. So we don't know what's happening inside. This is the difficult part. And this is where basically the deeper problem lies, because when we're sending traffic from our channel, from our content, from our ads or whatever, we're sending it directly to our Skool, and we are hopefully getting it. And what often happens, there's actually a strategy called launch jacking. I used to do it when I first became an affiliate, and it's kind of the low-hanging fruit, the easiest way to make sales as an affiliate, and it's the one that people target a lot of the time. And then the better affiliates, the bigger affiliates actually try to build lists and get more people that are colder to push towards promoting your products. And those are the affiliates that most people actually want, because they're not hijacking your traffic. They're basically trying to bring in new traffic. And they're the best type of affiliates, and they're the ones that tend to make the most money. So it's where people make review videos, they do posts and blogs, and just try to jump in front of buyer intended traffic, people that are interested in taking the action of buying your product, joining your services, signing up, whatever. So this, for example, would be like a review video on my community, a post about my community, a blog post about it. Is it good? Here's a review of it. Here's some information. So as people want to say, is this worth it? Is this group good? Or is this product good? We're checking for reviews, feedback, and information to make that buying decision. And then if you click the link there, then you basically hijack that traffic before it goes. And that's kind of the working both ways part as well that Skool was potentially saying. But for me, this is essentially currently what Skool, especially until they start boosting everyone, but while doing this with search, this is what Skool is doing on a platform level. They are Skooljacking, if you will. They are hijacking search traffic, which is traffic that we brought in, and then they're jumping in front of it. So by having to do very little, by potentially switching device and using a different device. Because if someone is searching for the name of my community on the Skool platform, it means they're already aware of my community from somewhere. So for Skool to say, well, it's from us. Well, is it though? Probably not. You aren't actively going out to make people aware of my name and my community. That's me building my personal brand. And then it's the unknown that we don't know what is happening inside the platform itself that is generating this featherlight attribution. So Skool is essentially currently getting into the middle and hijacking and then getting 30% inside, while not, more importantly, pushing the extra traffic to our free communities to justify this. It works both ways. And this is not me trying to hate on Skool. I love the platform. I'm just a bit disappointed with the way that this is being handled, if I'm honest. And it's not just me. This is the thing. Members inside my free community, which I will link to in the video description if you want more help with your community and growing it, or to ask questions on this and join a conversation and to actually, start to see maybe the best way it is to grow your Skool community moving forward with Boost, because I think there's benefits to Boost if they can make it work. But we can see here, one of my members, basically, a number of transactions they were pushing through, basically losing nearly $90 after basically the fees. So all of that work, and you end up with $200 after selling something for $300. And the complaint was, this used to be free. We're not getting any extra. This is just the same search traffic that we were getting before, potentially inside. And that's a lot to take for that particular moment. So it's a bit of a gut punch for people where they suddenly think, well, hold on, you've taken something away from us. You're not giving to us right now. And I think this is where the friction is for people. You're not giving us enough. We're not seeing enough of the give. We're just seeing the take. And that leaves a bad taste. And I think this is where it's a bit of a mistake. And then I've got other ones that's just saying it sucks. And, again, it would feel like we're getting punished and so on. It's not resonating well for people because you're working so hard to grow your community as it is. And again, if these people were getting a lot more, then we might not be complaining about the sort of few sales, whatever the percentage is. Maybe you're losing 20% of sales, but if you're gaining 30 or 40, you don't necessarily mind. Especially, again, I'm seeing this especially from the YouTube point of view, because apps like Instagram and so on, people are not going to really be using that on a TV or a computer. They're really going to be using it on a mobile. So therefore, the connection between apps might not break down as easily. And I saw a really good post. I'm not going to give away any names of people just in case they don't want me to speak about them, but a really good post by a member in the Skool community who basically said everything that we were sort of feeling about Growth Boost and how sad she was at having to turn this off. And it resonated a lot with me. And it was saying after going all in, optimizing cover card, description, turning on the free trial, the only members I got from Skool Network were misattributed. So again, and then talking about is people that they know, clients of theirs, people they've even worked for years. And then Skool is taking some of that. And it's again, we love the idea of Growth Boost. This is the thing, we love the idea of Growth Boost, but people have tried similar things on different platforms before. There's a reason it doesn't work. And you definitely can't make it work if you're doing it for search, because that is it's a gray area that's a little bit shady again. So the issue is, again, until attribution is solved, it's going to have to be turned off. And, it's a sad thing. So the real questions we have to ask here are, how weak is the general cookie that we get from traffic? So when traffic comes in from, say, our YouTube channel, using our generic link, and then coming inside, how weak is that link? And based on what I'm seeing, it's pretty weak. Because let's say, for example, this particular client in this case didn't search on YouTube, but somehow something triggered a search. We don't fully know how. I'm assuming that it is potentially true, but maybe if it wasn't true, then that's a really feather light and something else similar triggered that tagging. So therefore, the invited by link might be the way to go to give us stronger cookieing. I don't know how, if that's improving. So we can get a link for our own group, and you may have seen it, and then you click on it and it says invited by. And that normally is what you see for people that are affiliates of other communities. So it says invited by. So I think maybe I'd have to look into this. We can get our own link so that when you click through, it says invited by you. So therefore, it will be invited by Gareth when they click through to my paid group or from my channel. Now, it's a longer link. It's not as pretty, but it might be the way to give a deeper cookie than the sort of surface level ones that we get from general traffic that seem to obviously get switched to Skool very easily. Now, I hope Skool have got a deeper cookieing for our own links, but we'd have to see. It might be exactly the same. I don't really know how that's handled. So that is a question we need to go. And then a deeper question again would be, does Skool no longer want high ticket? So does Skool no longer want high ticket? If they're telling us to take sales off the platform, they're really they're going to be improving, which I think is a great thing, the free trial features and what we can give people access to inside, and how people can then upgrade automatically inside a free trial so they can unlock everything. I think that'll be game changing in many ways for many people. So again, I'm not hating on Skool. I think it's doing really good things, but this is a new reality we have to work with. It is a business, and they have their own objectives, and their objective is to reach 1 billion people and help 1 billion people find community. And that means bringing more people to the platform. And if they're going to do low ticket, it means more people on a scale. And that works better for the model that they're trying to do with Growth Boost. So therefore, and we can see on the features that they did inside with the freemium and so on, everything was leaning towards low ticket. And initially there was a lot of high ticket stuff and a lot of people using high ticket. Sam's background, high ticket. So there's a lot of people leveraging it in that way. But very quickly, it has become the hobbyist, the general small communities. It really is focusing on trying to do what Facebook groups did again. But we see with the lack of features and the lack of care around high ticket that I don't think, personally, they want high ticket anymore. Or they just don't care enough. It's just not the focus. So, and looking at how the refund struct system works and how the payment system works and so on, I actually think if you're doing any type of high ticket, it's time to take it off of the platform. So you need to start taking it off, either pay directly into Stripe or anything like that. It's a bit of a bummer, potentially, if you were doing the Skool games and stuff. But then now the Skool games is a lot more about, as we can see, it's changed and evolved again. It's a lot more about a numbers game and getting to that monthly reoccurring income. So, okay, with this being the new reality and what we now understand, what is the strategy going forward? And I think the first thing is don't panic. Don't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, it's a pain in the butt. But if they do get a hang of it, then potentially Growth Boost could be great for many of us. I think it's going to help certain communities more than others. If you're in a niche that is maybe a little bit more saturated, for example, my niche, I can't really imagine them sending me very much traffic. We will see how that pans out, and I'm definitely going to be testing it more. So again, join our free community if you want updates from myself. But otherwise, these are the strategies that I see moving forward. So we just need to adjust. We need to adjust to what we're doing. So the high ticket model that we've got here, essentially traffic coming in to our free community and then payments taken off. So checkout page of some kind where you on the phone, you give them a link, they pay you directly, and you now manage your own payment and Stripe account or merchant account or whatever you're using. Yes, it's a bit of a bummer because Skool did this so well and it was so convenient in many different ways, but that's a new reality. And actually there's a lot of benefits that come with that. And again, I think that's a different video in itself. But I'm realizing a lot of the functionality and the updates, we can get a little bit too blinkered with Skool. And it has been nice to actually look around these last few days and see what options there are to us when you actually start to think of Skool as just doing one particular thing. So that's the high ticket funnel. The low ticket funnel, if we accept the 30% reality and we just leave it on. Now, many people even doing low ticket who have a good audience may still want to turn it off. Maybe they don't care about Skool Boost. Maybe they just want to run their own ads. Maybe it's just not high on there. They just don't want to mess around with that. In which case, then you can turn Boost off. So that's the end of the conversation anyways. Just do you. But if you accept the 30% reality, then what you could do is, again, you got your traffic coming in. Again, you got a free community. And by free, that could be, it could be basically doing a 7-day free trial. It could be freemium, or it could be the 2-group model. I think the 2-group model is kind of my favorite in many situations right now. But all of those three I consider to be free. And then basically try your best through your about page and your setup and your marketing and your angle and the way you're presenting it to then tap into Boost. So then hopefully we get some boosted traffic coming in and we get some traffic coming from our system, and we just get as many people coming through the system as possible. And we monitor Boost to see if it's bringing in more or less, because if it's bringing in more, we don't care. It's absolutely fine. We just treat Skool as any other affiliate and we move on with it. And it's a good boost, because potentially then, if you wanted, you could actually combine the two, both low ticket and high ticket, into a low ticket to high ticket funnel. So again, you've got your free system, traffic into free. We then tap into Boost and also the free traffic that we're sending in. And then we basically sell them low ticket. And then some people inside, you will sell your high ticket services to. Now, yes, there might be a bit more friction coming through, but the more people you got going into free, you're basically going to have two things to sell them. You're going to have your low ticket and you're going to have your high ticket. And if someone takes a low ticket amount, we can look at this, especially if Boost is working, as a self-liquidating funnel. Now, self-liquidating funnels are where it's break-even funnel. So even if you're losing quite a bit of money here, if it's making enough money for you to run your own ads as well as Skool doing Boost, and you're sending people in, then even if you're breaking even here, you're getting leads for your high ticket. So therefore, it's self-liquidating, as in the low ticket cancels out the cost of acquiring your high ticket members. So that is potentially the sort of reality of the setup that I'm seeing moving forward, that we have to see the low ticket as just a way to get more people through the door with potentially with Boost and leveraging the different features that they've got and so on. So I think the reality moving forward is also we have to realize that Skool is not a cult. It's a platform. And like any platform, they do things we don't like. They have changes we don't like. And for a long time, we've all been in this honeymoon period with Skool. And I still love it. I think it's still a great platform. I think they still have a lot of momentum. But there's a good chance something else will come out in the next year that will replace them. You never know what's going to happen in the market. So we have to understand it's not a cult. It is a tool. And if the tool does not suit the needs of what you're trying to do, then either leave and go to a different platform or adjust what you're doing on the Skool platform. You just have to adapt. Yes, it's a gut punch, but we have to adapt to this new reality and try to make the best of it, because there's still a lot of opportunities. These guys are very smart people. It will work for us in certain ways, but they are showing us that certain people on the platform, sadly, are more important to them than others of us. So we either have to join them, and, if you can't beat them, join them, or we have to adjust and, face that new reality, or try to do something else, or try to turn it off, or move to a different platform. As always, if you would like help with your group business, then you can join our free community that I will link to in the video description. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.